Welcome back everyone to Pontos Film Hobbies. This is our A Song of Ice and Fire tabletop miniature games unboxing slash review video for the House Targaryen Gold Cloaks. We picked these up in our recent trip to Singapore, went to Hammer House. We also got at Hammer House the Starfall Knights for House Martell, so we're going to do an unboxing of this. I usually do a miniature review video before we do any paint through videos, so that's what we're going to do here. Let me just get this out of the box. We'll read a little about the Gold Cloaks. We'll go deep dive into the sort of lore of the Gold Cloaks, and we'll check these minis out before we paint them up. So let's get into it. First of all, I noticed that this is just like the Starfall Knights. I mean, I did buy this in Singapore, but one thing I think is kind of cool on these boxes are you've got it in Chinese, and I think there's also a Japanese card on these. So first off, Gold Cloaks box art looks super cool. These guys know that they're the in group. Like they say in Blade Runner, if you're not a cop, you're small people. That is totally the motto of the Gold Cloaks, I think. Right here it says the contents is 13 miniatures, 12 Gold Cloaks, 1 Gate Warden, 2 cards, 1 unit card, 1 attachment card, and 1 movement tray. Requires Lannister starter set. It says Gold Cloaks. The bustling city of King's Landing is generally considered a safe place to live. The streets are regularly patrolled by the Gold Cloaks, named for their distinctive garb. They can be seen almost everywhere in the city, keeping the peace and ensuring the rule of law per the King's order. More specifically, the Lannister orders. Though technically under the control of the king, with the Lannisters' deep coffers, they often just happen to be absent when any Lannister is breaking the king's law or appears out of nowhere to preserve a Lannister's life or purse. Much the same thing. Yeah, one thing about the lore of this is I think if you kind of dig into the lore a bit, really the Gold Cloaks were established to sort of be the law enforcement of King's Landing, which is the capital of Seven Kingdoms. And so, like, I guess like what they're pointing out is even though the King Landing at the time of, let's say, the beginning of A Song of Ice and Fire or A Game of Thrones from the TV show is under Baratheon rule, they do kind of seem loyal to the Targaryens, right? I mean, to the Lannisters. And when I said Targaryens, I mean, they seem loyal to the Lannisters in the sense that they really are Tywin's kind of force throughout the Game of Thrones series. But if you look back to the House of the Dragon, you know, with Daemon Targaryen, there's those classic scenes where Daemon Targaryen is cleaning up the city, and then they seem like a Targaryen force. So first off, we've got the Gold Cloaks card, and we got this. We only have the Chinese version in this one. In the Martell Starfall Knights, we got Japanese and Chinese, but this is only a Chinese, I believe. So we got those. But the cover art is cool, and it is interesting to see these. Let me know if you want a Chinese language card. The art on the box is a little bit cooler. This is such a wonky image, but it does get the it does kind of have a brutal attack kind of mode to it. This one's a little bit better. Gate Warden. Speak ill of the king at your peril. So what are some of the characteristics here of the Gold Cloaks? We've got bludgeon. It's +4. With 3 rows, it's 7 dice. With 2 rows, it's 5 dice. And then with 1 row, it's 4 dice for attacks. We got defense is +4. We got panic is +7. They got order, laws of the realm. When the enemy is short range attacks, before rolling attack dice, that enemy is treated as having a -1 rank from attack dice. If he only has 1 remaining rank, it becomes vulnerable. And they also have oppressive peacekeeping. When you control the crown, enemies in short range of this unit suffer -1 to morale. Wow. And then the Gate Warden has superior numbers. This unit's melee attacks may re-roll any attack dice when attacking enemies with fewer remaining ranks. And then reinforcements. Each time this unit activates, it restores plus... Oh, wow. It restores 1 wound every time it activates. Wow. And you can restore an additional +1 wound if you hold the crown on the non-character player sort of track there. So these are cool. Definitely interesting. I was thinking at first when I got these, I was going to get the King's Guard. So they had King's Guard there, and they had these, and I was like, I don't have a lot of space in the suitcase. So I went with gold cloaks. The King's Guard are also cool looking, right, with the white cloaks and stuff. Guys, leave me a comment. Which would you have rather bought? If you had the option of buying the gold cloaks or King's Guard, which would you buy? So first off, we got the Gate Warden. Let's give him a view. All right, this is pretty cool. Look at this mace he's got. Wow. I would never think that these guys were armed with maces. That's pretty great. He does have a short, like a dagger, it looks like. It looks kind of like a Naruto kind of throwing dagger, doesn't it? But again, all of these A Song of Ice and Fire miniatures, especially these newer ones, they're quite distinct. Like the belt is very wide. All of these things seem designed especially for somebody like me who can't paint small. You've got a real clear helm, real clear armor. Totally like this design. I think it's great. And then let's look at the different gold cloaks themselves. First off, we've got these guys with the overhead attack. They've got the mace above the head. And I'm going to put this one right. And I'm also going to grab maybe one of these guys. The thumbnail. That looks like a thumbnail right there. Look at that. Maybe I'll make it this way. Or this way like that. No, I like it this way better. Or you know what I'll do? I'll switch this way. Okay, now we got it. Look at this. Here we go. They look great. So this is the second type. It's kind of got the knife and the weapon out. Long cloak, obviously. Boots, tunic, a belt with some pouches. I think they got some shoulder armor here. Very nice looking mini. Let's give it a super zoom in here. Look at that. The mail looks super clear. Yeah, these are going to be fun to paint. The third type, we've got another overhead attacker. I think it's the same. Oh no, this is a two-handed overhead attack. So the other overhead attack was a single-hand overhead attack. And now we've got the two-hand overhand attack. This guy's really about to bludgeon. He's got the cross-haired straps. That mail, it looks awesome. That's great for dry brush. That is totally inviting the dry brush right there. And then next up, we've got the last of the four types. We've got a two-handed, but he's kind of got almost holding it like a baseball bat. It's a little bit, looks a little bit frightened, this guy, doesn't he? I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with him, but he seems he's kind of defensive. What do you guys think? Defensive, or just ready to bludgeon some King's Landing some bludgeon, some King's Landing riffraff. Okay, so let's zoom back out on this a bit, and let's take a quick peek at these on the tray, how they're going to look. Obviously, if you guys are interested and like what we're doing here, go like and subscribe. Leave your comments below. If you ring the bell, you can get notified when we paint these. And I will leave you with a message from our sponsor. The channel is sponsored by the books from Pontos Fathom Press that we create. We get a sister channel called Pontos Fathom Press, and it helps us to support our hobbies channel. First up is the Omnibus Edition Cat 2 Journals Out of Lovecraft's Providence. This collects the 6 individual volumes of Genealogy of Cthulhu, Archaeology of Yog-Sothoth, and Psychoanalysis of Rilliah. That makes up the first trilogy. There's also Hermeticism of Hastur, The Alchemy of Azathoth, and The Necromancy of Nyarlathotep. Put them together and you get this massive tome. You can buy these individually. You can go check out our podcast or our Patreon as well and get some information on these before you buy. But it helps to support our channel, so really appreciate that. We've also got out there The King in Yellow and Lost Carcosa and the Yellow Sign, Tales of the Yellow Sign, Volume 1 and 2. We're also putting together some podcast lecture notes. We've been doing a podcast now for a couple of years since the lockdown. We've got topics on Lovecraft, Frank Herbert, Philip K. Dick, pulps like Conan, Solomon Kane, John Carter of Mars, even anime like Evangelion and Bleach, Song of Ice and Fire, Tolkien, and our esoteric dragon mysteries, decoding the dragon symbol in myth and occult traditions. Finally, the Dune saga. Frank Herbert's Dune, super popular with the release of Dune 2. This is William Mitchell's Alchemy and Anthroposophy in the Dune saga, getting behind what makes Dune such an interest with people. Some of those Jungian, alchemical, and anthroposophical themes, but also digging deep into things like the ethics of the God Emperor Dune, the politics of Dune Messiah, and looking into Herbert's influences from Samuel Butler into some of those powers of the Bene Gesserit, Bene Tleilax, and even in looking into the war against the machines. Finally, we've got Artificial Psychology of Desiring Machines, August Moldenhauer, William Mitchell, digging deep into the rise of machine intelligence and looking at that balance between machinic desire and also the automation of humanity. So really something compelling for these days. Go check it out. Helps us support the channel. You can also check out our Patreon, and as usual, like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. So yeah, check out our bookstore link below. Like and subscribe. Check out our Patreon. For as little as $1, you can stay abreast of our Song of Ice and Fire gameplay and miniature painting. We're playing Tainted Grail this season. We've got tons of Joan of Arc content, Eldritch Horror, Cthulhu Wars, Cthulhu Death May Die. Of course, A Song of Ice and Fire, Battlestar Galactica, Game of Thrones, War of the Rings, Twilight Imperium, Dune Gale Force 9, and Dune Imperium. So guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.